Hi, my name is Christina Glaw.
And sorry about
in
that.
large format.
Sorry about that. My name's Christina Glaw, and I'm going to take just a minute to introduce myself. So I am, I will be 40 this next year, and I have been married to my husband for 16 years. We've been together for 20 years. And I have been, I was saved when I was 20 years old. So actually, was I 19? No, I was 20. I was 20 when I was saved. There's so much history to share, and I'm not actually getting into all that today. But the reason that I'm on here right now is because I've been called into marriage ministry, and the Lord has asked me to share this experience that I had with my husband, where God just really showed me how to love and how much He loves us. And I have my Kleenex here, so y'all excuse me if I get a little bit emotional, because y'all, the Lord's love undoes me. Like, it hits all the depths of me, and it is the only thing that can fill me up, and the only thing that is satisfying, really. So I'm going to take a minute just to share a little bit of history with you before I get into the story. So in the 20 years that my husband and I have been together, I was 19 when we first started dating. He's 6 years older than me. And it's just been really a lot of growing up, you know? So just trying to figure out who I am and what I stand for. When we first got together, I was not a believer. I grew up in a Christian home. My parents loved the Lord. They were in church all the time. They taught me about Jesus. They taught me about who He was. But I had not really experienced Him for myself, and I just kind of took everyone else's word for it, that He was my Savior and that He lived in my heart. And I believed that to a limit. I was very limited in what I understood, because all I ever knew of Jesus is what I'd heard of Him. So anyway, my mom passed away when I was 14, and that is when like everything just kind of hit rock bottom. Everything started to fall apart. By the time I was 19, I'd run away from home a few times. I was living on the streets, living with friends wherever I could. And I just decided that if somebody that I loved so much was loved by a God that was so powerful, then why would He allow, these are the lies that Satan was walking me through, okay? Why would He allow her to suffer the way that she did? She had cancer for almost 8 years, and I have a lot more testimony through that I will share in more videos, but I just questioned God and His goodness, and I didn't see it, and I didn't know it, and I didn't understand it, and I thought it was fake. I thought that all the people in my life, being around church, growing up in the church, family members, I just thought that they just kind of walked that out in front of everyone, but then like maybe when they were at home by themselves, that maybe they didn't really believe that. I don't know. I was a kid. I don't really know what I believed. I just know that I didn't completely and wholly believe in a good Father that does so much. So my husband and I met when I was 19. We dated for 4 years. We got married when I was 22. And then we had 3 children, and here we are. We got married in 2002. It's now 2018. So here we are. And so this story that I'm about to tell you happened a little over a year ago, maybe. I don't remember the exact date, but we've been through a lot, okay? And before I get into the details of the story, I just want to ask you, right now, if there is any judgment in you at all, that you would lay it down. Because this story is not about offering a place for judgment at all. In any marriage, you really have to be aware of the spirit of judgment and how that can affect your relationship, every relationship that you have, not just your marriage, but every single relationship. So we have been off and on. We've been in times of poverty throughout our lives together. And during this time, we were definitely poverty stricken. And it was hard, y'all. It was hard. My husband has some addictions that he struggled with. And sometimes he does still struggle with those, but he's working through that. And I know for a fact the Lord has told me that he will be free from those struggles. So all the praise, and you're welcome to pray with me through that. But so we were in a time of poverty, and I mean, I didn't even know how we were going to pay for groceries, how we were going to get our bills paid. I wasn't really sure how to make things work. We were just living day to day. And previously, throughout our marriage, God has walked me through a lot of difficult times with my husband. And he basically has told me to bless him anyway. When he is difficult, bless him anyway. Be a blessing to him. And so it has taken a lot of practice for me to get to a point where I can be a blessing to my husband when he has wronged me, or when he has hurt me, or when he has sinned against me, trespassed against me. So be a blessing to him anyway is what the Lord told me. And I'm not good at that all the time, right? So that's not the easiest thing to do. And I have limits and I have boundaries, but what I've learned about myself is that sometimes my limits and my boundaries are unreasonable. My expectations are unreasonable, and I have to be careful because it can lead me into a position where I'm being accusatory and blaming. So during this time of poverty, my husband, all of a sudden, I noticed on our bank statements that his paychecks were getting deposited into a different account, and then he was transferring the money into our joint account. And I didn't recognize the account number that it was coming from. However, I did know that this account existed, which I found out later that I had already known that it existed. I just didn't recognize the account. So I just noticed this, and I also noticed that the amount that was being transferred into our joint account was not the amount that he was supposed to be paid. It was less. And because I take care of our finances and I run our household on a budget, that was a huge deal. It was a big deal because I plan out every single dollar that we have. And so I asked him if, what was going on, what this account was, and he explained to me the account, and I knew that that was an account, but I didn't know that he was depositing his checks into that account. And so I asked him about it, and he was like, I don't know, he was like, no, I mean, I accidentally deposited it in there, and then I transferred it over, and then it happened again. And so I asked him about it, and he's like, oh man, did I do it again? And so I said, I want you to open that account. I want to see it. And he didn't want to. He did not want to. And so I just said, this is a pretty big moment right now. Like, I really need to see this. This is what's going on, and this is where these are the things that I'm hearing going through my mind, and I don't want to think that way. So I just want you to set the record straight for me and show me the deposits into this other account because this is a lot less than what you were being, not a lot less, but it's less than what you're normally being paid. And so I put my foot down and I just said, you're going to have to do this. This is going to have to happen. And immediately, he just kind of hung his head and he was like, I don't want to show you. And I said, okay, well then can you tell me what's going on? And so he explained to me that he had made a purchase that he'd hid from me and that he was making payments on this purchase, and it was not a necessity for our family. It was just something that he wanted, and he was keeping it. It was just a selfish purchase, and it was keeping our family from being able to function. So he said, you know what, I will try and return the purchase and blah, blah, blah. Well, at this point, I didn't even want to talk to him anymore. I was beginning to get very angry and feel very furious with him and his choice to put our family last. And, and the enemy uses all of these moments that we go through like this, and he tries to make us focus on the hurt and the pain and the rejection and all the things that the enemy does, all the schemes that he has, that he tries to poke and prod at the situation. You guys, the enemy is not a dummy. He's not smart at all. He does the same things he's always done. However, he sits there and waits for a moment to tear us apart. He wants to rip your marriage up like it is last Sunday's newspaper. I don't even know why I just said that. I'm just telling you that he sits and he waits for these moments. He waits for us to fail. He waits for us to sin, because he knows that that is an open door where he is able to get in there and kill, steal, and destroy. He wants to destroy your marriage, and it is up to us. It doesn't matter what your spouse has done. It doesn't matter. It is up to us to take a stand and have self-control and choose what our reaction will be. Not accusing or blaming your spouse for what they've done. Not accusing or blaming and saying, hey, it's your fault we're in this position. That's not what the Lord wants for us. That's not what he says love is. Love does not keep record of wrongs. Love always trusts. I know that that's hard. That is hard to grasp, that love always trusts, because I have been in a position in my marriage before where I could not trust my husband. So let me explain to you for just a second. The enemy sits and waits for these things to happen. And immediately in my mind, I'm like, I've got to fix this, right? I have to fix this. Like, what am I going to do? We need food. We need to pay our electric bill, or electricity is going to get shut off. Y'all give me just a second. I'm in the car line. And so I'm going to have to get off my phone here in just a minute. But anyway, so he sits and he waits, and he waits for the opportunity to put a stronghold on us and use our spouses against us. So in that moment that I finally find all this stuff out that's been going on, that has caused strife in our family and on our financial stress, which, you guys, financial stress in a marriage is not easy to walk through. That is some hard stuff right there. But you don't have to. You don't have to walk through it alone. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to fix it. I'm sitting there on my couch making a list of all the things in our house that I'm going to sell to replace the money that is now lost. Okay? And I'm sitting there trying to figure out how I can better control our budget so that my husband cannot make this mistake again, so that he cannot walk us into a bad financial situation. So I'm sitting there and I'm going through my closet. I'm pulling all this stuff out of my closet. I'm like, I'm going to sell all these things. I'm going to sell all of our furniture. This is what I can get for this. This is what I can get for that. My husband's trying to talk to me, and I just said, I need a minute. I got to get with the Lord right now. I can't talk to you right now. I need some space. So I get with the Lord, and I'm telling the Lord, Lord, I can do this, and I can do that, and I can do this, and I can do that. What do you want me to do? How do you want me to handle this? What should I do? And he says to me, it's time to fall. It's time to fall, Christy. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? And he starts walking me through this mindset. He starts helping me change my thinking. The Holy Spirit is in the midst changing my thought pattern. And he says, be okay with losing everything. Be okay with losing your house. Be okay with losing your car. All you need is me. All you need is me. Be okay with losing everything. And I want you to take all of this that you have figured out, all your kids' savings, all your business money, all of the money and savings, all of your kids, everything. Take everything, all of your credit cards, all the money that's in your bank and any cash that you have, and give it to your husband. And I said, what? Why do you want me to do this? I don't want to do that. I don't want to give him everything. Don't you see what he just did? Don't you see what he did? Why? I don't want to give him everything, Lord. And God said, it's time to fall. And I said, okay, I trust you. I trust you. I hear you. I'm just going to walk through the steps. You guys, the Lord has told me before, do not lean on your own understanding. It's in his word, but he reminds me gently all the time, Christy, do not rely on your own understanding. This is not going to make sense to you. Trust me. So when you find yourself in a position where something is going crazy in your marriage and you need help from the Lord, I'm telling you right now to go to him. Don't try to figure it out on your own. Go to the Lord. He will walk you through it. He will show up for you. And don't try to make sense out of it. Just trust him. Just trust him and boldly in faith walk through the steps that he gives you. So here I go into the living room and find my husband. And he's sitting in the chair and he's got this notebook and he's writing frantically. And I sit down and I say, Lord, like this is in my mind, in my spirit. I'm just like, Lord, I need your help forgiving him because right now I don't feel like I have forgiveness for him. Please, please give me forgiveness for him. And I feel this supernatural energy just wash over me and this forgiveness. It is clearly forgiveness that washes over me for my husband. And I said, are you ready to talk? And he said, I don't know what to say. He said, I want to say I'm sorry, but I don't feel like it's going to make a difference. I don't think that it's going to matter because I've said I'm sorry before. And I told him exactly what the Lord told me to do. I said, well, I forgive you, and here's everything. And I laid it all out, and I gave him everything. And I said, you do what you think you got to do. And he began to cry. And he said, see, I'm getting to the part where God really shows up big time, and it's just already starting. He said, no one has ever loved me that much, that I would do something bad like this, do something wrong, and then they would give me everything. He said, no one's ever loved me that much. People always abandon me or reject me.
And in that moment, God said to me, "This is how I love you." He said, "This is how I love you. It doesn't matter what you do. I give you everything." And then I see Jesus carrying his cross. And the Lord highlights the people that are throwing rocks at him, that are screaming profanity at him, spitting on him, doing all these awful things as he's carrying his cross. And they're the exact people that he carried his cross for. They are the people that he went to the grave for. So, this is how we love. Be a blessing no matter what. I hope that this testimony inspires you, and I hope that it helps you see in your marriage that God will walk you through it. Any trouble that you have, he will walk you through it. And he loves you more than you know. He loves you more than you know. I love you guys. I hope that you are blessed. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.